Welcome to Design Diary, the podcast where you get to look inside my board game design notebook as well as what's going on inside my head. We look at a new word each day from the sense of mechanics, tone, theme, or inspiration for a full game. Today's word is
Eventuate. To come out, finally. Result, come about. And I took this as the a long reveal, almost like playing the long game to finally come out in the end. But before I get into it, there's two things. One is I got like 3 minutes into recording this with the hiccups and had to stop and walk away for 30 minutes and come back. I thought I could make it through it, but it was just extremely annoying. And it was probably be even worse on your end. But the other thing is I was reading about the word eventuate, and there's a little did you know, and it's funny because it's a British commentator called it, and this is like early 19th century, another horrible word which is fast getting into our language through the provincial press. Other British grammarians, I believe that's the way to pronounce it, and even some Americans agreed that it was horrible. It was an American word, made its way to Britain. Everyone said it was horrible. It's less controversial these days, but it's still regarded to be pompous, ponderous, and unnecessary. Which I didn't know. I mean, here's an example of it in a sentence was the accident eventuated from a cascade of mistakes, blah, 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 blah. I get it. I mean, I guess I can see why it's a little pompous, but the few times I've heard it, sorry about that. The few times I've heard it, I never thought of it as pompous. But here we go. And I guess I wasn't at the time where it was up and coming, where, they were haters back then too. So I thought of a game, what is this? My notes just flipped. I thought of an idea where you're playing a game where you have hidden roles and hidden identities, and they do not come out until the end of the game, but at the end of the game, they also don't come out. Only one of them is going to come out. And here's the way I wanted the idea to be where you, almost like in poker, where you never show your bluff. You don't reveal it at the end. And a lot of like these hidden role games you do. And I wanted to see something that was big and long and deep in the role, and at the end you never actually say what it is. And you don't say what it is because of the game. In outside life you could discuss it, but you might just want to keep it quiet for when you play again and really want to get into your character. So I want to see a game where you have hidden roles, identities. They don't come out at the end of the game. Let's say it's a hidden role game and the game ends when one player guesses another role correctly. Or maybe incorrectly, which I thought just a single guess could end the game. And it's either right or it's not right. The only two people that know the result of that, or I guess everybody knows if it's correct, but if it's incorrect, the only two people who see what the role is in showing it, they're going to have to reveal it to each other at least, are those two people. Nobody else shows their role. Nobody else sees anything else. If it was wrong, the guess was wrong, nobody else knows what the right answer was. But the thing about guessing incorrectly and ending the game could lead to some bad king making. And if you don't know what king making is, it's when one action can end the game and it's eventually going to make somebody win. So, for example, if the first person to get, 10 pieces of silver ends the game by getting the 10 silver, and then we count gold for our win condition. Silver's not a win condition. It just enables the end of the game. So I'm playing and not having a good time. I'm just going to work to get in all this silver and just end the game. That's a really bad description of it, but hopefully it gives you the idea. It's when one person ends the game, but it doesn't necessarily mean they win the game. So for this game, I could just not be having a good time or just want to end it or just be trolling everybody and just say, I'm going to guess this person's role, and boom, the game's over. So there's something in that. And I think what I would like to do is keep it as that, because I want the wrong answer to also in the game, but make it have to be voted by all players. So I want, not all, but like maybe the majority. I want like other players to have some say, or somebody can nix it. Maybe everybody gets one no, going back to an episode from a couple days ago where everybody was able to prevent something from happening once in the game or something like that. Anyway, imagine a deep-rooted game about political intrigue where you get to do actions based on your role as well as any other role. So I can say I'm going to do, my action is to, move and take some gold. And a different action is to move some gold from one person to another or whatever. So let's just say I can do that on my turn. I can do any action I want. But if I do my action, it benefits me towards the end of the game. So by doing my actual action, I jot down some points. I get some points. So we all take a bunch of actions, and at the end of the round, everyone writes down the amount of points that they get. So if I did my own action, I write down the points. If I didn't do my own, I just write down 0 points. But I did all these actions and I got things, and it's eventually going to help me throughout the game. So you collect points for the things that you did that were your own role only. It's done in a secret way, and you secretly take the points. And I thought of writing it down on a sheet of paper that shows your role, the actions you took during your turn, and how many points you get for it. So, and I imagine a turn taking multiple actions during a turn, not just a single one. So I thought of this almost as in the way that roll and writes have roll and write. So you roll dice and write on a sheet of paper. And I'm learning to define these terms as I go because some people haven't heard them. But in the style of a roll and write is you have these little Yahtzee style sheets where you're writing down things. So I thought maybe it'll take you through all the turns of the game where I'm writing down how many points I get or how many I didn't get or whatever. So the game ends when somebody calls another person out. If they're correct, so they call them out and say, you are the farmer, whatever it is, the game's going to end, and they would get the points for every time they claim to be the farmer. They get that added to theirs. Everybody else gets all their points that they got during the game, but this one gets a bonus points for every time they played the role that they called out. And if they're wrong, the other person does not reveal their role. They just show it to them. The person who called it has to reveal their role. And every other player is going to get points for every time they played that role. So we jotted it down. We logged it the entire time we played. And eventually everybody's going to get points. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean somebody's going to win or lose either of those players, because everyone else might get points for the times they played a role that they didn't play much. And you might have played yours a ton and made a ton of points. So I'm hoping there's a cool balance in getting that down to where points are nice and tight. And just because I guessed wrong doesn't mean I lost the game. And just because I guessed right doesn't mean I won the game. But the important thing here with Eventuate is to finally come out is that at the end of the game we know exactly one role. One player will know 2 roles, and that's the player who guessed incorrectly. But I guess that's almost like a consolation prize for having to give up points or having everybody else gain points except for you, is that you got to know one person's style of play, but you were wrong about it. All right, that's what I got. Hopefully it's cool. I like it. I feel like I'm on a roll 2 days in a row where I actually like what I came up with. If you have any ideas, please share them, and we'll see you again tomorrow with Rob. Me and Rob working on another word of the day.